to speak on the bill that recently failed, despite my colleagues' assertion that they support access to in vitro fertilization for all Americans. You know, this morning I was able to pack my daughter's lunch boxes. It sounds mundane, I know, but when I spend just a second thinking about it, even that kind of everyday moment with my girls isn't mundane at all. It's a miracle. Because after 10 years of struggling with infertility, after being wounded in combat,
And after being a radical leftist shitbag piece of crap anti-human scum, Duckworth and all the other Democrats and everyone else who's radically pro-abortion and says that they love killing babies and hate having kids and humans shouldn't have kids anymore and we're harming the planet and we have too many humans, we're overpopulated, and abortion is the most sacred right and the most important and joyous and amazing thing in the universe, and abortions are just the best stuff, and if anyone gets pregnant, they should have abortions. Now I'm flipping and saying that I love children, I love having babies. Women, Democrats, Democrat women, everyone, their biggest dream is to have a baby, and if you don't support seemingly going to be federal taxpayer funding for IVF, I assume she's going to support now. If you don't support all American taxpayers being forced at gunpoint to pay for your IVF to have babies if you have infertility, then you must hate babies and you're a scumbag Republican. How dare you hate babies because you don't want to pay for my IVF. This hypocrisy is legendary and it's as bad as it gets.
Only able to have my two darling girls through the medical marvel that is in vitro fertilization. The only reason there are PB&Js for me to make for their lunch, the only reason there are teeny sneakers for me to Velcro clothes is because after I came home,
it's kind of hard to read what her staffers wrote about her own life, right?
Seek the health care I needed to make my
freedom. Yep, she's all about freedom.
To mommy a reality. I was one of the lucky ones because now that freedom to get reproductive care is at risk for millions of other women whose most desperate
she cares about freedom, I'm sure.
have a little one of their own. Make no mistake, this isn't some future nightmare. This is our countless women already had their IVF treatments interrupted.
I know, it makes me want to cry too.
Alabama State Supreme Court ruling painted women seeking fertility treatments as criminals. And in this moment for our country, as we stare down November and all the uncertainties that come with it, there's no telling how many more will follow. Look, I doubt that Donald Trump even knows what the acronym IVF stands for, and half the time I wonder if he can even spell IVF. But despite the
you're all about unity, calling Republicans dumbasses who can't spell.
That came out of his mouth last week, the reality is that he is the reason that IVF is at risk in the first place.
Yes, he's such a tyrant, we should kill him. Wait, how dare you support violence? We gotta kill Trump. Amazing.
And handing it to politicians in state houses across the country. Donald Trump is the one who brags about taking down Roe. Donald Trump is the one who acts like that's something to be proud of. He's like a bank robber who steals cash out of the till and flees the scene and then still expects a reward.
He's a bank robber. He's so evil we gotta kill him. Whoa, I never said I support violence against political opponents.
His support of IVF is as huge as the made-up crowd sizes at his rallies. We know the truth. He is the reason that IVF is in danger. He is to blame.
Orange Man bad, and everything was Trump's fault. I forgot.
It's more about staying good with Trump than about doing good for the Americans they are supposed to be serving. Too many of those Republicans are in this very chamber. I know that because today marked the third time in the past 7 months that I've come to the floor begging my Republican colleagues to help me pass legislation I wrote that would protect every American's right to IVF, regardless of what state they live in. A bill that would ensure no doctor or hopeful mom could be criminalized for trying to start a family. One that would permit all health insurers to cover the treatments, and one that would require the federal health insurance plan to cover reproductive technologies, allowing our troops to preserve their sperm or eggs before deploying to a combat zone.
The federal government shouldn't be involved in any of this stuff in the first place.
It took a junior Republican senator from Mississippi what seemed like not even one full Mississippi second to block its passage. Then, when I tried to pass it again in June, nearly every GOP member voted it down. Today, it was the same old cynical story as Republican after Republican voted no, no, no. And at this point, it's obvious. Despite whatever talking points they force through gritted teeth on cable news. When the rubber hits the road and the vote is called, Republicans would do anything to get out of actually passing legislation that would protect women's right to access reproductive health care. Women in this country
They use
have
reproductive
been
health care
through
for having
enough.
babies and killing
What
babies.
women
It's
don't
amazing.
need is a man who is found liable for sexual abuse, controlling what we can or cannot
Yes,
do
this
in
is
our
all
country.
Trump's fault.
What
He's
we
upset
don't
at
need
51
is
Republican
women
senators,
sworn
none of
to
which are named
convicted
Trump,
felons
but
getting
this is all
us
Trump's fault somehow.
like we're the ones who are criminals. It's tragic. Republicans only seem to care about protecting life when it supposedly consists of some cells in a medical lab freezer.
Oh
What
my
about
god,
elected
she's such a
third
fucking
graders
cunt.
whose school day gets shattered by a man with an AR-15 who wants to turn their math class into a massacre?
This is why I can't watch politicians speak.
Yet one more woman to bleed out on the delivery table as a maternal mortality crisis among women of color rages on.
Yep.
Well, then those
We just want black women to die. That's what this is about. Oh my god.
Listen, I'm sure that some of my colleagues will try to slink away from taking any accountability here.
She is such an evil scum witch.
Some ridiculous excuse like this bill would allow for human-animal hybrids, as if anyone would ever believe that. And for the record, it would not. Well, to those folks, I say that this afternoon's vote was your chance to put your vote where your mouth is. It was your chance to prove that you believe that every woman in this country deserves a chance to be called mom without also being called a criminal.
How many more women will be called mom if not for the millions of abortions that this woman has supported?
Asking my GOP colleagues to head into combat to show that they cared deeply too. I wasn't asking them to do anything hard at all, actually. All I was asking them to do was to simply support a bill that could have represented millions of women's only chance of starting families. All I was asking of them was to vote in a way that reflected the position they claimed to have when they were starting talking on Fox News. They couldn't even do that. So on behalf of every woman who has faced a heart challenge,
What is a woman?
all I can say to my Republican colleagues this afternoon is shame on you.
Shame on you, tyrant scum.